All right, guys, I am back from RBET New York, and I'm going to do a tournament report. I've been doing this for all the big events that I've gone to since the Ultimate Time Wizards, the one I first won last year. And yeah, I'm going to do just how the rounds went really quickly, my deck list, and then I'm going to go over the top 16 decks and what I think about Edison moving forward. So first, I'm going to tell you guys why I chose Black Wings. Some of you guys know, I've played Frogs for for months. Then I switched over to like Diva Hero Beat. Then I switched to Value, and now I'm switching to Black Wings. I think I didn't perform well at YCS Sacramento, so I was kind of like decided to take a break from Value and decided to try Black Wings because I saw a lot of people did well with it at Sacramento. And so those of you guys who have been watching my channel may notice that I've been uploading more Hat than Edison. I still do one Edison video per day, but that's because I only have one Edison local now, whereas I used to have three. Now I have one Edison local, one Hat local, so I'm just uploading what my locals are playing. And since I'm only playing Edison in real life once a week, I went with Black Wings. That's the only deck I've been playing. It's the deck I had the most reps with. And do I regret playing Black Wings? I don't know. It's a good deck, but after this tournament, I feel some of the other decks might be more consistent. And we'll get over it. We'll go over it once I get to the tournament. But I'm just gonna go over the deck list really quickly. It's really standard. It's hard to really, unless you play hybrid, the pure Blackwing deck, they're almost all the same. Like you see my list, 3 Blizzard, 3 Bora, 1 Gale, 3 Kalut, 3 Shura, 3 Sirocco, 1 Vayu, 1 Dark Arm. Spell lineup is Allure, 2 Black Whirlwind, Brain Control, Heavy, MST, 3 Upstart. Traps, 2 Bottomless, 2 Deep Prison, 3 Icarus, 1 Mirror Force, 2 Oppression. Solemn, Torrential, and Trap Does Shoot. So I want to go over the 2 Oppressions in the main deck. I actually was not main decking Oppression for like the longest. They were always in my side deck in Black Wings. I was using Gores and what was the other card called? Mind Control were in my main deck. And looking back, I mean, sometimes it just comes down to what you're paired against. Like if there was a lot of value, but the field was too diverse. So Oppression's always like you'll either do well because you'll get paired against matchups where Oppression's good, or you'll do bad because let's say you play a bunch of Values or a bunch of Black Wings, then Oppression might not be good. And this time didn't pay off, but there have been times in the past where it did pay off for me playing 2 Oppressions, but not this time. But yeah, maybe next time I'll use the Mind Control and the Gores. But I always like a card like Royal Oppression at the big events because 200 plus players, it's it's gonna hit a lot of the matchups. But we'll see. If I ever decide to play Black Wings, maybe next time I won't main deck the Oppressions and just leave them in the side deck. All right, let's go over the side deck real quick. It's pretty standard. 2 Cyber Dragon, 2 Crow. Now, the Gores is in the side deck. I put it in whenever I take Oppression out against like Vayu and the Blackwing Mirror, and then I throw Gores in. 2 Noblemen of Crossouts. I don't side Mind Control because the matchups where I'm going to side the Mind Control is going to be like against Vayu, so I think 2 Crossouts is enough. And I side 2 Nobleman Exterminations. This card I sided in a lot because whenever I go second, a lot of people side Dust Tornado. Like everyone sides Triple Dust against Black Wings. So my goal is kind of like snipe their Dust Tornado, and then so my summons can go through, and especially if I have Black Whirlwind. So yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of this card in Black Wings. And I side Triple Dust for the Mirror because I don't want to lose to Black Whirlwind. That's it. And then 3 Pulling the Rug. That's what I side against Frogs. I actually thought about side decking Mask Restrict, but I've been testing Rug forever. And I personally, I don't really like to take too many chances. I usually go with what I'm comfortable with. And then I use locals to test. And then for the big events, I usually go with what I'm comfortable with. An extra deck, I'm not even going to go over it. It's a really standard extra deck. The only thing is maybe you can fit in Mistworm. That's about it. Is there anything that I would change? I don't like 2 Vayus. If anything, I'm glad I only played 1. Every time I drew it, it was terrible. Upstart's fine. I don't like Yada. I still think it's too slow. Mind Control's okay, but I think you don't need it. But outside of that, everything else is fine. I don't think I would make many changes. Except maybe like I said, move the Oppression to the side, throw Gores, and maybe some other random card like a Book of Moon or something. Alright, now we're going to go over how my rounds went. I'm also going to go over how the tournament was ran after I go over my rounds. So, round 1, I play against Vayu Turbo. I won the die roll. Now, I'm just going to go off memory. So, game 1 was actually, I think I was winning because I trapped Does Shoot him. And I saw his hand was like, he had a Dead Chaos Sorcerer, so I sent back his Raikou. But then, I think the turn after I Does Shoot him, he drew into Allure. So I kind of fixed his hand, and he was able to get the dead Chaos Sorcerer out of his hand. And then what really, I think, won him game one was that he drew into his own trap Dust Shoot, and then Dust Shooted my Blizzard, which was the only follow-up play I had. And then I was stuck with a bunch of like Boras and Shuras in my hand, and I couldn't deal with his monsters. And yeah, that's why I lost game one. And then game two, I won. I drew Black Whirlwind. I mean, come on. The spec wins, and he couldn't out it. So it was just quick. Game two was pretty quick. And then game three, I just drew bad. I remember my opening hand was Gale, Vayu, and Blizzard, and Black Whirlwind. So I had no targets for Black Whirlwind. And the only other monster I saw, I can't remember, was like one Cyber Dragon. Because I side in one Cyber Dragon when I go second against Vayu. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe from moving forward I won't. I side one in just to try and bait out bottomlesses and stuff, but it didn't. I guess my friend Randy was telling me I shouldn't have done it, so yeah, maybe moving forward I won't side the one Cyber Dragon against Vi. But again, the rest of my hand was awful, and his hand was good, and then he like brain controlled me, and I lost. So yeah, I've talked about this before. Losing round one, it sucks. You're off to a bad start, and sometimes the momentum just, you know, you go on tilt for the rest of the tournament. But I've gone out of it before, but this time I didn't. So round two, I'm like, you think you lose round one, you're gonna play against an easy opponent. And no, round two I get paired against Hector. I don't know how to pronounce this. Lateles, I think. You know, this guy has been on fire the past few months. He won an RBET, got second place at the Ultimate Time Wizard in Austin. I get paired against him round two, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I lost round one. Should I at least get a easier opponent? But it was nice meeting him. We had a good match, but I lost the die roll. He goes first, and he just did standard lights more stuff, and my hand was like all monsters. He milled Necro. He had Honest, and it's like I really couldn't do much. I remember I just went for Catastor, and I was like, Catastor has to get me there. I'm like almost positive he has Honest in his hand, and yeah, I lost game one. I drew all monsters, and he drew pretty well, milled a Wolf, milled a Necro, so I lost. And then game two, I just lost to two Consecrated, so he summoned one Consecrated, and eventually I drew the Icarus attack to out it. I Icarus to the first Consecrated after he heavy stormed me. And yeah, because I remember I set like the first turn I set like a Deep Prison or something, or a Bottomless, one or the other. And then he summoned the what's it called? The Consecrated Light, and I couldn't deal with it. Eventually I drew Icarus, set the Icarus, then he heavy stormed me, but at least I chained Icarus, popped the heavy, popped the Consecrated. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. At least I got the Consecrated off the field. Then he summoned the second one, and I actually had Torrential. And I had Torrential. I'm just waiting for him to summon a monster. And then he set a monster, so it's his set monster. I was like, okay, it's probably Raikou, so I'm just gonna wait. And then when he has to summon something, he can't, he has to summon something on the Torrential. But then he had MST my Torrential, and just I lost from there. I had no outs to the Consecrated, and then he milled the third one, so he sided 3 Consecrated. So yeah, moving forward, if I do continue playing Black Wings, I don't know, maybe I gotta side some more outs to Consecrated. And after that, the rest of the rounds, I'm kind of like, I'm out. I'm playing now just for fun, because there's nothing else. I could have joined side events, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna play the rounds. If my opponents show up, great, we'll play. If not, I just don't care. I'm just rooting for my friends. And shout out to like I said, my friend Javi made top 16. Randy almost topped. So round 3, I get paired against Frog Heroes. I don't even remember this match. It was a pretty quick 2-0. I think game 2 I drew Black Whirlwind, and that's all she wrote. And then round 4, I played a Black Wing mirror match, and I did lose the roll. And I did lose game 1 because he opened Whirlwind, and I had no outs. And then game 2, I don't even remember this match. I just remember game 3, I thought, something that happened was game 1, he Starlight Roaded me. And then game 2 and 3, like I was playing, like I was careful to not walk into Starlight Road, especially because I saw game 1. But then game 3, I remember there was a scenario where he opened Whirlwind again game 3. But I think he only got like 1 search off of it, and he had 1 back row. So I had to make a choice. I was like, do I Black Rose him here? If his back row Starlight Road, I lose. But I was like, whatever, I have to go for it. I think I was already out the tournament, so I didn't really care that much. I'm just gonna go for it. I Black Rosed him. His back row was a Yada. And then I slowly came back just because I think the rest of his hand was bad. He had like a bunch of Boras and stuff. So I'm 2-2. Round 5, I had a no-show. Round 6, I get paired against Dragon Turbo. I lost the die roll. Game 1, he does Dragon Turbo shenanigans. But what's funny is I almost came back. The only reason I almost came back was because, but he did a ton of damage to where like he got me I was down to like 900, and because of his card destruction, I drew into Dark Arm, and I had exactly 3 dark, so I almost came back, but he still had gas left, so I lost game 1. And game 2, I just beat him with a Royal Oppression. He didn't draw his Heavy Storm, so I just suppressed all his plays and I won. And then game 3, just all Dragon Turbo shenanigans, and I couldn't really do much. My hand was weak, so I lost that one. And what's funny is his Dragon Turbo list, he was not using Reckless, which is not something I'm used to. I think he was main decking Royal Decree, which seems risky. Your deck's a little less inconsistent, but I guess you'll blow people out with Decree. But yeah. And then round 7, I went up against Amaryllis. And so what's my record right now? I'm 3-3, technically. I get paired against Amaryllis, and I'm not sure how familiar this guy is with Edison, but he made some moves where I was just like, it was just crazy. But he did beat me game 1 because Queen of the Thorns. No one's ever summoned that card against me. I think you take 1,000 each time you normal or special summon a non-plant monster, and it actually cost me game 1. Because maybe I could have played around it, but I had no idea what that card did. He summoned it, and then, I ended up losing. I think I was going to lose anyway, but maybe I could have done something different. And then game 2, I remember I tried to bait out his Titanial, and he just didn't negate my Gale or my Icarus. Like, I remember I was trying to bait out his Titanial with Gale, and he didn't negate it, and I was like, what? Okay. Then I went for Icarus, and he didn't negate my Icarus either. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I just won that game. And then game 3, I think he maybe could have won game 3, but like I saw the clock we were getting close to time. I had like Royal Oppression, so I just went in for a ton of damage. And what's funny is I actually had game without time. I won in time, but I remember I had a Goyo on the field, a face-up Oppression, and a Blizzard. And he was higher on life points, so I just have to go for it. But then for my turn, I drew MST. So I went summon Blizzard, and I'm like, hopefully he oppresses my Blizzard, that way I can chain MST. And he was like at 56. So that should be getting, I'll drop him down to 48. Goyo and whatever synchro I make with Blizzard is game. But he didn't oppress my Blizzard. So then I just made Armed Wing, and I was higher on life, and then I won. But he was going to lose anyway. I think his hand was bad, and then he just drew. What's funny, I think one of the games I won because I kept gaining life points with Magical Android. I think it was either the third game or the second game. There was one game where I just literally just synchro for Android, and I was like, he could have just burned me to death with Amaryllis. But it might have been game 1. There was one game where I stayed alive thanks to Android. Like, I was gaining 600 and I was not attacking his I don't know, I think that was game 1. I still lost that game. But it was it was a fun match, but I don't know, like I said, I don't know how familiar he is with Edison. And then round 8, I had a no-show. So my record really was 3-3. Even though the standings said I was 5-3. But overall, the event was fun. I had fun, New York. New York's expensive, but the city's great. It's just a different environment. The people are nice, and the event itself, I know there was a lot of complaints about it because Keegan started really late. It was kind of crowded, like I barely had room to lay out my map, but I've had that experience before at regional, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe Keegan, the only thing I'm going to complain about is maybe Keegan should start a little earlier. But what's funny is him starting late was actually a benefit for me because me and my friends, we actually stayed far away from the venue. And we were stuck in traffic. So had he started on time, we probably wouldn't have made it. So I know a lot of people were complaining about that, but we got pretty lucky. And even though I scrubbed out, I still want to play, even if I don't do well. All right, so now we're gonna go over the top 16 decks and my thoughts on Edison. So some of you guys who maybe watched my video where I talked about the pros and cons of like the 4 most popular retro formats, I've always said this. The one beauty about Edison is the variety. You can see here in the top 16 how many different decks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 decks out of top 16. That's great. I've always said that's one of the strengths of Edison, why I think it is the king of retro for now. It's one of the same reasons why I think Hat is probably my second favorite, because I think Hat also has the same diversity. Maybe not as diverse as Edison. I don't know. It's close. And As far as I've said that Edison is solved, I think Edison is solved, but any other deck can do well, and this just confirms it. Yes, I mean, you can see here, Volume Frogs had three variants in the top 16. So did GBs. The only deck that kind of underperformed was Blackwings, but that happens. There have been tournaments where Frogs underperform. There have been tournaments where Value underperforms. It happens, you know. All right, so let's go over this. So we had 3 Value Turbos. I'm not going to go over the deck list. I'm just going to tell you that we had 3 Value Turbos. I think they were pretty standard. I watched Keegan's video. I kind of like skimmed through his video. I don't think there was anything too crazy in the value list. Then we had 3 different frog variants. 1 Dream Frog, 1 Hero Frog, and 1 Mausoleum Frog deck, which is, how do you say his name? Ronak? He's just great with frogs. I think he's one of the best frog players. So, like, I don't know. He could play any variant and he'll probably do well. And, yeah, frogs, I'm not surprised to see them do well, especially in the hands of good players. They're just frogs. It's a good deck, especially when they go first. All right, 1 Machina Turbo. I'm glad to see this deck. Some of you guys may have seen me play this. I actually did enter 1 local with this deck. Maybe I should give it another chance because I really, really like Machina Turbo. But I think the problem with that deck, it has a bad frog matchup. But it has a decent Value and Blackwing matchup. So, I don't know. Maybe that's a deck that I need to give another shot to. And then next up, we had 1 Hero Beat Stun. And this was with like Snowman and Thunder Kings. I don't know. I don't like Hero Beat. I think the Diva Hero Beat version is better because it makes Miracle better. That's just me. But made top 16. Good job to him. Then we had 3 GBs, 3 different variants. We had, well, 2 of them were kind of close. Murray, who went first after Swiss. Javi's decks are similar, except Javi's on Respite and Upstart versus Murray's on like Hedge Guard and a few other cards. And then we had the winner who went, I think his name's Maxwell. I think that's his name. He was main decking 3 Iatos, and his GB deck list is like crazy. But he did end up winning. I don't know. I mean, he did go X2 in Swiss, while Javi went X1, and Murray went undefeated. So, I don't know. This is just showing you how good GBs are. I think the thing about GBs is they have some good matchups. Like, there's not a deck that really beats GBs except Hero Beat. And Blackwings, I think, are slightly favored against GBs, but the problem is there's no Hero Beat. Hero Beat's the worst matchup for GBs, but no one's playing that deck. So maybe if GBs keep growing in popularity, maybe Hero Beat makes a return, but the problem with Hero Beat is just inconsistent. That's why I stopped playing the deck. But if GBs continue to rise, who knows? Maybe I'll pick back my Diva Hero Beat deck, pick it back up. Some of you guys have been watching my channel for a while. I've seen me. I've beaten GBs in the finals like 3 times with my Hero Beat deck. Anyways, let's go. Next up is Quick Draw. Surprised to see Quick Draw. I mean, Quick Draw is a solid deck. I think my friend, is this the guy that Javi beat? I know Javi beat a Quick Draw player on stream. I don't know if it's the same guy. It might be someone else. I don't know. I don't like Quick Draw, but congrats to them making top 16. We have 1 Blackwing. I'm shocked. Because there was a lot of good players playing Blackwings. Myself, Fraser Smith was playing Blackwings. Who else did I see? AJT BLS was playing Blackwings. He actually lost on the bubble against Fraser. Maybe, maybe if I heard, had he beat Fraser, because Fraser went X2 and didn't top, maybe AJT, had he won on the bubble, would have topped and we would have had a second Blackwing. And my friend Randy lost on the bubble to Marcus. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He was playing like a hybrid Blackwing deck with like Rykos and Armageddon Knights. And he went X2 and didn't top. So, yeah, sometimes some X2s get in and others don't. So, that's just what happens. Like some decks, like some people just have slightly better tiebreakers and they get in. Because, I mean, there's 2 Blackwing players right there who also went X2 but just didn't have the tiebreakers. It'd be interesting to see like everyone who went X2 and then compare. All right, next up we had 1 Twilight deck. It's Lightsworn. Lightsworn can always get hot. And then we had 1 Diva Hero, which is a deck not many people play, but it's okay. It's a solid deck. And the last one is 1 Amaryllis. I'm not surprised to see Amaryllis. Amaryllis is a strong deck. It has many good matchups. I think just maybe not enough people are playing it. But it's also another like deck that can be inconsistent. But if you look at like Amaryllis against some of these matchups, like Amaryllis has a good value matchup. It has a pretty good frog matchup, a good Machina matchup, a good hero beat matchup, but it has a bad GB matchup. And I wouldn't even say it has that. The thing is, it has a bad Blackwing matchup if the Blackwing player draws like Kalut and Blizzard. So there you guys have it. That's the end of the tournament report. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let me know what you guys thought if you were there in New York. And I'm just going to give a shout out to everyone who came and said hi. Because, you know, a lot of people came up to me this event. And I'm going to give a shout out to Antonio, who gave me a mat. He gave me the European Championship Dark Armed JD mat. I think it's a copy, though. I might play it on the channel here for a few times. I'm still going to play on my signature mat that I got from my store. But I'll probably play on a few videos on that one as well. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.